Does Michigan have enough to compete for a national championship?
I don't think so. Although it's especially in the world of college football, it's you could argue it's wide open. You look at Alabama, and you look at Bryce Young and an injury he has with his shoulder. Georgia is now coming into their own, but they've been struggling the last couple of weeks. I get all of that. But the reality is, it's not even about national championship. Can Michigan beat Ohio State is probably the number one thing for me. Because if you can go and beat Ohio State, I think that's when the expectations can kind of shift. Right now, they're just focused on Penn State. I mean, you got to get through Penn State at this point. If you just want to compare Michigan and Ohio State, the differences I see, especially, we'll just start with running back depth. Blake Corum has been excellent this year. But the question I have is, can you ride Blake Corum to a national championship run? And like Ohio State, they have two good backs. They have multiple good receivers. They have depth everywhere. And I think that's what Michigan lacks as well. And defensively, they don't have those marquee players like last year, at least not yet. They have a collection of guys. You can get to the quarterback by group effort. I mean, Mike Morris has shown things. But overall, I just don't think they have the depth. And for JJ in his first season starting, to expect him to take this team all the way to the national championship, although, yeah, anything can happen. I just don't see it. So for me, Adam, I'm going to say no because they just don't have the depth other teams have. Now, if you beat Ohio State, you prove me wrong, we can have a conversation. How likely is it? Where do they match up? But as of right now, I'm just concerned about Penn State this week, Adam. I mean, if they got to beat Penn State and continue to show, because as of right now, who you beat? You went to Iowa, you beat Iowa, it was an impressive victory, but that doesn't move me to push Michigan into a national, contender conversation. So right now, I don't know if they have the talent overall. I mean, even offensively, they got weapons, Ronnie Bell, Luke Schoonmaker, but I mean, Ohio State, it's just a different animal. I mean, every team, especially the Georgias, Alabamas, I mean, maybe Alabama you can make the argument, but Ohio State, I mean, you got guys. So that would probably be the difference for me, Adam. And defensively, I don't think they've shown to be a dominant defense. They've shown to be a very good defense. But I think the big test for me, go out and beat Penn State. And at the end of the year, when you face Ohio State, well, you got to take care of Michigan State, by the way. And then when you get to Ohio State, if they could put up a fight and or beat Ohio State, I think that's when the conversation should start. I think people saying they could win it right now is just too premature for me, Adam. It really is. Just looking at strictly the roster. Although you have the quarterback, the dynamic quarterback, is this a team where you could put everything on JJ's shoulders and he can go out and beat a team? I mean, that's the question I have. I think he can do it, but he just hasn't shown it yet. So I'm waiting on that. This week, Penn State, very good against the run. If they stop Blake Corum and JJ can pull you to a victory, you might have the quarterback to overcome those things. But right now, it's just they haven't proved to me yet. And my gut says no, if I'm being honest with you.
I think there are championship qualities about Michigan. Mm-hmm. Their defensive front, I think, is only going to get better as the season progresses. Let's start there. JJ McCarthy, people like me and anyone else, whoever it may be, that campaigned for JJ as long as we have, it was for this very reason. Hey, I don't think you can win a national title dinking and dunking.
Right.
The dink and dunk, the underneath, the check down, the 10 of 11 for 57 yards. You can't. And what we've seen with JJ is the Michigan offense really hasn't opened up. Right? They missed Roman Wilson over the weekend. Not having any screen action, play action. Again, are they saving it? I don't see it. I don't see that Michigan is holding back the playbook for later on in the year. That doesn't make sense to me.
No, they gave him some shots.
It doesn't make sense from a coaching standpoint. I don't see enough play action. What does Michigan do well? They run the ball. Yes, cool. What is one of the hardest things to defend against? The play action. Why? Especially when the team is running the ball effectively. Yep. Mm-hmm. You had Blake Corum go for what, 100 yards? You didn't run play action maybe once? Michigan, to me, what's holding them back from being a legitimate national contender, it's not the roster. I think right now it's coaching.
Scheme.
I don't like how they're lining up on offense. They're predictable. They have 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 sets that they go to, and you know what's coming. And that's the traditional, Schembechler. We're going to run the football down your throat. That works against the really bad teams. It worked against Ohio State last year. Great. Do you see what Ohio State looked like right now?
Oh, dude.
See what Georgia looked like right now?
It's track stars.
Bama are winning without Bryce Young. A lot of good teams in college
Ohio
football.
State's winning without Jackson Smith, the Jigma. So
a lot of good teams in college football. Clemson, USC undefeated. A lot of good teams. Tennessee coming up. They may beat Bama this weekend. Michigan needs to be able to move the ball downfield through the air. I'm not saying it's your priority one. Your priority one should always be to establish the run, Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards. But why did we talk about JJ McCarthy? Not because he was cute or he could run with the ball a little bit more. Because he could drive the ball downfield, he had the arm strength, and he showed the accuracy. Cool. You've seen it in glimpses this year. Cool. But Michigan have to open up their playbook for me to even take them as national contenders.